Thank you, Nathulal Solanki Ensemble, for this lovely opening set. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Asia Society Hong Kong Center, our sponsors and partners, and India by the Bay team, I welcome you to our first virtual edition of India by the Bay. In our 6th year in Hong Kong, while we may be unable to receive you in person, we promise, if technology permits, we will transport you to a land of wellness, food, music, and literature over the next 4 days at India by the Bay Digital. The 2020 edition had been planned with meticulous detail. Unfortunately, the world went into lockdown, confronting a global pandemic, and our plans had to be shelved. We had to postpone our on-ground edition of the festival to 2021. However, our determination to support the arts and bring India's vibrant culture to Hong Kong annually made us adapt to the digital world in partnership with the Asia Society Hong Kong Center. We have a wide variety of sessions on offer, including wellness, yoga as a way of life with Daniel Simpson, food Zyka, food creativity in lockdown with Chef Romy Gill and Chef Piku, music East-West, a legacy with Shubhendra Rao and Saskia, who pay tribute to Pandit Ravi Shankar, and a conversation on Churchill, hero or anti-hero, with Dr. Shashi Tharoor and Professor Mukulika Banerjee from the London School of Economics. We thank all our partners and Asia Society Hong Kong Center for being the hub of the festival and always having our back and supporting us wholeheartedly. A big thank you to all our sponsors for their continued support every year. We have received some lovely messages from our partners, sponsors, and attendees. Let's listen to what they have to say. And a big special thank you to Mrs. Shroff, our guiding angel.
COVID-19 has changed the world forever. It brought us to a standstill and even made us postpone India by the Bay 2020 in March. But we were convinced that we wanted to do something to ensure that even this didn't get between you, our supporters, and the festival. So we bring to you a digital version of India by the Bay with some of the best speakers, musicians, food critics, and so much more. And this is a precursor to India by the Bay, hopefully on ground in 2021. I do hope you will continue to support us and join us online and watch the series.
I am delighted that India by the Bay digital series will go online for 2020. And after all these years of hosting India by the Bay here in Hong Kong at the Asia Society Hong Kong Center, we're delighted that this year we will continue. Although we will not be able to meet in person due to the current pandemic, but we're really, really excited that it is still going to take place. I think right now, with what we're going through in this current pandemic and in the world of COVID, arts, culture, wellness, connection, it's more important than ever. So I am particularly looking forward to it. And although we, in some ways, we've been all zoomed out from our various programs this last 8 months, but I'm particularly looking forward to Asia Society Hong Kong working with India by the Bay again. And I know it's going to be another great success. Of course, it's going to be a different success, but we look forward to having India by the Bay back on in person, hopefully next year. But in the meantime, I wish everyone all the best for this India by the Bay digital version for 2020.
Good evening, everyone, to this first ever digital India by the Bay. Harry and I, along with the Caravel group, have been part of India by the Bay since its inception. It's been a pleasure watching it grow and flourish. 2020 has been challenging in so many ways. The pandemic has led to a change in the way we work and live. Travel is out, and there are plenty of hardships. At last count, more than 1 million people have died, and millions more have lost their jobs and livelihood. With events worldwide cancelled, the arts sector is suffering badly. Kudos, therefore, to the entire team at Teamworks, but especially to Lakshmi, Sonali, and Parul for putting together this digital festival. I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time and hopefully we'll have an expanded festival in 2021. Stay safe and well. Thank you.
I'm delighted that India by the Bay continues their tradition of celebrating India in Hong Kong, although through a digital series. Art and culture has the power to unite and connect. And throughout self-isolation, performers have been tapping their creativity to share messages of hope and love. From neighbors singing to each other on balconies, to online concerts and even online yoga classes. DBS stands solidly behind artists and institutions at a time when art is suffering the full force of the effects of an economic and social crisis, because of our belief of being the bank that strives towards making a better world.
Hello, I'm Benedikt Fohr, Chief Executive of Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra. As India by the Bay, also Hong Kong Philharmonic believes passionately in the power of music. Music is always a source of courage, healing, calm, and unity. During these difficult months, the India by the Bay Festival celebrates in October India in Hong Kong by launching a digital series so as to attract more audience here in Hong Kong and worldwide. It is really an amazing program, so please stay tuned and keep an eye on its website. And also next February, in February 2021, Hong Kong Phil will take part in the festival. We invited the renowned violinist and composer Dr. L. Subramanian, who will be joined by other Indian stars. And we present to the audience an exciting program with the Bharat Symphony, which was written on occasion of the 17th anniversary of India's independence, and also the violin concerto, which is called Chandrapriya, and this means lover of peace. The orchestra and I look forward to seeing all of you at next year's festival in person, and please join us and also join this year's online festival. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you.
Hi, this is Richard Allen here. I wanted to say a few words to you about India by the Bay. India by the Bay has been running for several years now, bringing a cornucopia of things Indian to Hong Kong. Last year, I had the privilege of being involved in a symposium with Malika Kapoor and Gayatri Shah on changemakers in Bollywood. As you know, it's really hard for organizations like India by the Bay to function and survive in these times of COVID. And I'm delighted to announce that this year, Lakshmi Loraya and her team have organized India by the Bay online with wonderful offerings for your edification and your entertainment. So I hereby ask you, indeed I urge you, to sign up for everything that India by the Bay is going to offer on India by the Bay Digital. Thank you.
India by the Bay is literally one of the highlights of my year. It's a real family experience, which is why I love it so much. Bollywood dance workouts, cooking experiences, yoga sessions, drumming workshops. I even got up on stage and did a drumming workshop, which was so much fun. But if you don't like the interactive part, then there's so much more to offer. I really enjoyed listening to some of the most acclaimed musical voices that India has to offer. What else have I done? So many things I've listened to. I've been wowed and awestruck by some of the traditional dance routines. And I've also heard talks on a wide range of subjects, from traditional Indian papers to rural paint practices. There's so much to offer. It's one of my favorite things to do. And it's a real celebration of Indian culture. I'm a big fan and I can't wait for this year.
I know I speak for many of us Hong Kongers when I say that the annual cultural festival organized by India by the Bay has become one of the highlights of our year for the last 5 years. I still remember the excitement with which I attended the first edition back in 2015. It was one of those rare instances where the experience surpassed the anticipation. And every year since then, I don't know how they do it, but the organizers have managed to keep raising the bar bringing us a smorgasbord of cultural delights. I mean, really, whether it's dance that does it for you, or whether food is your fetish, or whether Bollywood rocks your boat, or theatre is your thing, there's several gems in every single edition of the festival. And this year, even though obviously it has to be all digital, it promises to be no different. The organizers have managed to get us another fantastic set of events. I personally am looking forward most of all to Shashi Tharoor discussing Winston Churchill's legacy, but the tasty menu has so much else in it as well, ranging from food to music to yoga. So check out the schedule today and mark your calendars. See you there.
I still remember the very first India by the Bay event that I attended. A very atmospheric performance of Kissa Khwani by William Dalrymple. And since then, I've been hooked. Over the years, I've attended many dance performances, musical performances, literary talks, candid interviews of Bollywood authors, and fantastic dinners hosted by master chefs, and enjoyed every single moment of celebrating our shared South Asian heritage. And in these times when we are all hunkered down due to COVID, we are missing the uplifting power of these cultural touchpoints, which is why I'm absolutely delighted that India by the Bay has taken its program online, and I'm looking forward to virtually enjoying music, literature, wellness, and even food through the India by the Bay 2020 virtual platform.
I'm delighted that India by the Bay, a cultural festival which is an important part of the Hong Kong cultural landscape, is holding its 6th edition. The first 5 editions have been very popular because of the wide diversity of programs and activities that take place, from cuisine to wellness, from dance to music, performances, literary festivals. All of this take place to give you an incredible glimpse into the wonderful culture of India. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year the 6th edition will be held in an online format, in a virtual format, but I'm sure, like in the past, you will enjoy all the activities that are going to be part of IBB 6. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all our sponsors, partners, and attendees for these messages of encouragement and hope. And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to a panel as they speak about how India by the Bay has evolved in partnership with Asia Society over 5 years, the role of the arts in bringing together communities, and the challenges and evolution of the arts during COVID-19. I would now like to welcome Alice Mong, Executive Director, Asia Society Hong Kong Center, Alan Rosling, Co-founder, eCube Climate Finance, Kismet Singh, Planning Editor, Bloomberg TV Asia, Lakshmi Laroya, Director, Hong Kong Festivals, and Managing Director, Teamwork Arts, Sanjay Roy. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thanks so much, Ankur, and welcome Lakshmi, Alan, Kismet, Alice, and all our colleagues who are on this show. We're absolutely delighted that despite COVID-19, we have decided to go ahead with India by the Bay. As all of you would know, we were all set to roll it out in February of 2020, and then we postponed it and thought that maybe May, maybe June, maybe July, and then postponed it to September and said maybe we will squeeze through. And then we just took the decision that no, it's not going to happen. COVID is here to stay. There's no silver bullet. So let's go online so that at least we have an occasion to come together. So I'm going to start with actually asking Lakshmi. Lakshmi, so I think this is India by the Bay's 5th happening. So what was this mad bug that bit you to decide that you wanted to bring to Hong Kong after all of these years a festival?
Sanjay, I've questioned that myself. But no, I mean, honestly, I've been here 23 years. It's our 6th year this year. And about 7 years ago, we brought events. We've seen one-off events of India, Indian culture, in the past. But we've never had, a festival. And then Asia Society opened this brilliant campus. And I was like, this is the moment. I was dying to get, India to Hong Kong. So I pounded at Alice's door. Alice kindly opened it. And that was it. I mean, I think, with Hong Kong, venues are a big issue. And when this campus opened, I was like, this is perfect. So, that's when we started. And I think, a lot of it had to do with the fact that there's so much. We all know there's so much that India has to offer, the breadth, the depth, the beauty of Indian culture. And it just wasn't here in Hong Kong. So this was a great opportunity. Alice, I hope you didn't regret opening the door. But there we are. So, we just presented it to Hong Kong. So slowly, in our first year, we had a few events, and now we've grown into a week-long festival. And what we did, Sanjoy, and I'm going to sort of add what makes India by the Bay special as an organizer, is that, we created this festival. We sort of wrapped it in our aesthetic, and we curated it to have, from cutting edge contemporary to traditional, and we presented it to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong accepted it. I mean, they just took it on, and it worked really well. And, another thing we did is we personalized it. I like to think, and I'm going to put Alan and Kismet on the spot here later. I like to think that we made it an experience. It wasn't just buy a ticket, go see an event, come away. We created a before and after. We created this sort of atmosphere and festivity around the festival. So, of course, you had your brilliant performances, but you also had, it was a thing, it was a place to go to, and I've had strangers come up to me, who attended the festival for the first time and say, that's fun, because you get to see the best of India, and you get to see it in an environment that we've created. And
so Lakshmi, hold it there. Lakshmi, hold it there about it was fun and it's really a place. So Alan, let me come to you. You've traveled across the world. You've been in India. You've worked there. You've been back and forth. And you've been part of India, by the way, year on year. What's different, or what makes it special? As Lakshmi said, there is a touchy, feely aspect of it, which is not necessarily there on Zoom, but let's assume for a second that the festival was happening in flesh and blood. What is it that makes this festival special for you?
Well, the first thing, Sanjoy, is I think Lakshmi and the team have made it special. They really have. I think I've been to almost every single event for 6 years. And we were devastated that February was cancelled or postponed. And of course, being online, it won't be the same thing. So we look forward to 2021 when you're back in full flush. So why is it special? Because you're bringing India's amazing culture to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong needs more culture. So Hong Kong is a city which has got deep Indian connections, and from the foundation onwards, thousands of people of Indian origin, many people who invest in India from the Hong Kong Financial Center. So we need the culture. Also, the connection, I think, between India and China is just an extraordinarily complex one. So the more conversations we can have about the arts and about business and about people-to-people issues, the better. And the learning that all of us pick up. I mean, I would never have gone to see, Dr. Putney talking about the philosophy of yoga. I mean, it just wouldn't be in my DNA to do it. But what really makes it special is it feels like a family event. It feels like that it's an event being put on almost in your living room. Okay, it's Asia Society, Alice's wonderful home. But because the people who attend are often the people you come across event after event, because the organizers come back every year, it begins to feel that you're part of a family. You're seeing Indian culture in the way it used to be, in your own living room, in your own home. And it's a very intimate experience.
Kismet, on that happy note, let me ask you, you're a dyed-in-the-wool hardened journalist. And, one of the things that Alan talked about was really about bringing cultures together. In today's extremely divisive world, one of our motivations of doing festivals in different parts of the world, including Hong Kong, is really is being able to present aspects of a culture which otherwise you'd have no access to. And by presenting that, you're sort of perhaps able to push back on that sense of fear or the sense of the other or the sense of alienation. To you, as a journalist, especially as a journalist and also as a supporter of the festival, what do you feel the role of cultural exchange or these kinds of festivals or platforms are, where you get so many different kinds of people coming together on one place?
I think it's the connection, again, as Alan was saying, and really the fact that festivals like this really do build community. And the moment you go to a festival like this, it doesn't matter what part of the world Alan is from, or where Lakshmi is from, or where the singer is from, or the dancer is from, or the organizer is from. You become part of something that's larger. You look forward to it. It becomes part of your calendar year after year. And that has certainly happened to all of us here in Hong Kong, and the people that I know that have become part of this sort of India by the Bay family. And also when you sort of attend these events, those borders sort of slip away. So you don't, when you're at the Asia Society and when you're at an India by the Bay event, you're sort of part of the broader diaspora from the entire subcontinent. I don't think of myself as someone who's a journalist from India or from Delhi or from New York who's moved to Hong Kong and who's at an event because I am Indian. I am there because I am there for the community, and I am also there because I feel like this is really unique to Hong Kong and the Asia Society, and I think it's the perfect sort of coming together of all of that, because it's so multicultural, and the more layers, it's like an onion, the more layers you peel away, the more you discover about Hong Kong, the more you discover about the Asia Society, and the new people that I've brought in to the festival, once I discovered it, once I moved to Hong Kong, say the same thing, that it's discovery and it's community for them.
Discovery and community. Alice, I remember when Lakshmi and I first walked into the Battery about 13 years ago. And when we were being shown around then, it was only the couple of blocks on top. And there you've created this most wondrous architectural building, a gift in many ways to Hong Kong, and such a beautiful place. But even more so, Asia Society has always been about connections, has always been about connecting east to west, south to north, and in many ways being a fulcrum of knowledge and, as Kismet said, of discovery. That's the most important thing. And we believe that this partnership that we've come to happen has been so fruitful on both sides. But love to hear your view on why do you think it's so important for people to be part of this cultural exchange, part of this whole knowledge area? Why is it so important, especially today?
Well, thank you, Sanjoy, and thank you for this partnership. I think it's more important than ever, this connection. I think, all you have to do is read the news. It's not just Hong Kong or US or India. There's so many divisions. And I think connection matters more than ever. And I am a Chinese American. I grew up in the States, born in Taiwan. And I think all of you have talked about previously this diaspora voice. I think diaspora, I've always believed, serves as a wonderful bridge. We have connection to our where our parents come from or where we were born, and then the country where we're living. So for me, I feel this festival and festivals like this is very important to remind us all where we come from and where we're going, and we're all kind of in it together. And what I love about this festival is just it's the authentic voices. And Asia Society has been around since 1956 in New York. And New York has seen, I know Sanjoy and many of you are familiar with our programs in New York. So we kind of built on that shoulders of people like Rachel, our colleague, Rachel Cooper, as well as our Asia Society Texas colleague. But here in Hong Kong, I think what's so wonderful about Hong Kong is, like Alan said, and I think that actually touched on, there was already India here in Hong Kong. But what we didn't really have a chance to explore further was the cultural connection and the people connection. And that's why I remember distinctly when I met you. I was not here 13 years ago. In fact, I was in the States. But when we were talking about the idea of this festival, it was just the time had come, and this beautiful building was done. We opened in 2012, and it was exactly designed to do what we've done, is to bring people together, bring culture together, and promote that understanding. We know there's conflicts, but we don't, here in Hong Kong, in this beautiful building, beautiful site,
used to be a British military explosive magazine 150 plus years ago. And so that, to me, was why we had to be part of this festival. And I'm so happy that we're continuing it despite COVID. And in fact, I'm really excited about this festival. I think the community is going to get stronger because of COVID, and not just the Hong Kong community, but I also believe the global community. We can still connect through forums like this, through digital. So I think, to me, that's really the next exciting chapter of exploration and collaboration.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Alice. Even the other day when we were speaking with Rachel and your colleagues in Houston, we realized that while we're still talking geography, in many ways, Zoom makes everything geography agnostic. So while you may be addressing an audience specifically in Hong Kong, you're actually speaking to the whole world. Alan, I'm coming back to you. Does culture and this understanding of people to people, does it impact the way we do business?
Absolutely, it does. As a foreigner in both countries, both China and India, it's now 38 years since I first went to India. It's 37 years since I first went to China. I'm just amazed that these two countries don't talk to each other, and therefore they don't understand each other, and therefore business is so limited, both in terms of trade and investment. So I think this type of forum that brings people together in a cultural dialogue, people-to-people dialogue, is critically important in terms of promoting business. And if you have business and trade and investment, the chance of political political misunderstandings is far less. So as a businessman, I think it's absolutely essential, the work that Lakshmi and the team is doing, supported by Alice and her team. I just wish we could do it more. I think we wish we could have 2 festivals a year in Hong Kong, or indeed a festival of Hong Kong in India. Do it the other way around. Take Hong Kong to Jaipur.
Well, if nothing else, we would love to get Hong Kong food into India sooner than better. Kismet, coming back to you, one of the things today is that knowledge has become really the fulcrum on which you can push back on any kind of hatred, and yet we're seeing cities, condominiums, everybody sort of becoming a republic. So it's the Republic of X, and everybody is seeded from their country or their city. How do you see this knowledge flow in today's world sort of really being so important?
Well, I think it's never been more important, and we have so many discussions about is there too much knowledge? Is there too much access to knowledge? Is there too much access to the wrong sort of knowledge? Who's going to police it? Who's going to tell you what to share, what not to share? And these are conversations we're having more so now than ever, with misinformation and fake news and the US election coming up. But I think the kind of knowledge that we're sort of, and I say we when I mean the India by the Bay family, the kind of knowledge that we are peddling is completely different, and it's really priceless. I don't think you can put a border on it. I don't think you can put a geography on it. I don't think you can put a value on it in the middle of a global pandemic. I think festivals like this and what you get out of them is more like a balm, and really, I think what one needs, it's really important to one's emotional well-being at a point like this in the middle of a pandemic.
Emotional well-being. Alice, how do you see Asia Society's role today, especially as it's now not just anymore about Asia Society Hong Kong or Asia Society Houston, but it's really Asia Society for the world?
Right now, I think it's really dynamic at Asia Society, our global network. The 13 centers are working more collaboratively than we've ever done. And, Asia Society family, we've been talking about this digital first that our president pioneered it about 4 or 5 years ago, and we've been talking about it. And this year it's happened because of COVID. And so right now, I think, as you said it earlier, there is really no boundary. The other day we did a program with Switzerland. You were talking about food, Moon Festival, and we sent over a packet of 10 Moon Festival mooncake package. So families in Switzerland and family in Hong Kong on one Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, were making mooncakes together. I mean, that would never have happened, or, you know, it would have taken a while. So what you said about the food, you know, let's explore. We can send the mooncake packets to India as well because mooncake, the Moon Festival reminds me of Diwali, reminds me of Thanksgiving. We have a lot of commonalities that I think now as part of this 13th center, you're right, it is one Asia society. And I think if John D. Rockefeller was alive today, he would be really, really, really proud. And although there are still differences, but in terms of the Asia Society Network, it's stronger. And in fact, some of our center are doing some of the best programs on Hong Kong, and they're doing it in California. So it's this cross collaboration that we've seen that Asia Society has done with India by the Bay, with yourself, and you have mentioned our Houston Center. I think we always learn from our Houston centers because of the diversity of the Asian American in Houston. And we also learn, and just that mutual learning and that collaboration has really taken us onto another level, which I'm very, very proud to be part of.
Lakshmi, I'm going to come to you to close this. You know, as you said, the effort has always been to make India by the Bay, you know, really personalized, touchy, feely. Alice talked about the food. Food has been our mainstay at the festival with our gala, with the India by the Bay gala that everybody looks forward to, and hopefully next year we will get back to it. How do you feel that we're going to be able to make this sort of special for our audiences who are hopefully going to log on every day?
Talk about the digital festival?
Yes, what we're doing.
We have such brilliant programming. That's why it speaks for itself. I mean, we've curated it, you know, I think to perfection. I think we've chosen carefully. We've chosen, you know, things that work well digitally. I mean, it does not replace a person-to-person experience, but, you know, I think just the programming is going to speak for itself. And I'm just going to add one thing, you know, talking about conversations and culture. Another thing that really, you know, we've tried very hard with India by the Bay, and I like to believe we've managed, is we've had collaborations with local arts organizations, you know, and Alice, that's, you know, pretty much with your encouragement, the Hong Kong Youth Arts Foundation, Hong Kong Lit Fest, West Kowloon, Hong Kong Academy of Performing Arts, and we have this big event with the Hong Kong Philharmonic next year, which again, you know, brings the community into the festival and takes the festival out to the community. And again, Sanjoy, we've got, you know, people helping us digitally with this as well. So we're taking it out to a whole wide audience, perfectly curated, if I might say so.
Well, thank you. And I think on all our behalf, we would have been loved to have to welcome you personally, each one of you, as we normally do. But this has to suffice, this message of love, of being able to build a community through a festival, of being able to support and celebrate the arts across a large distance. This is what we have to leave you with. And as Lakshmi said, we have a wonderful program all ready to roll out over the next few days. We hope you're going to enjoy it and stay logged on for that period. On behalf of Shonali, Paru, Lakshmi, Parul, Ankur, and all our colleagues at Teamwork Arts and Media Focus, thank you. Enjoy the festival.
Thank you so much, Sanjoy. Thank you, Alice, Alan, Kismat, and Lakshmi Laroya for such an insightful discussion. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we do hope to see you all for our first session, Wellness, Yoga as a Way of Life, which is starting in 5 minutes.